Hi, everybody. Happy Makerthon. This is Heidi with Revive. This is me. No, seriously, my name is Heidi Marsh, and I'm coming to you today with my coffee, and we're going to have a little coffee talk today. I tried to get my husband to do the whole Saturday Night Live coffee talk skit with me, but he chickened out. So I apologize for not bringing more comedic element to this session, but you'll just have to stick with me today. So, okay. So if you don't have a cup of coffee, grab one. You can even pause the video. I don't know if you can pause the video, but you can always come back. And let's get going. So, for those of you who don't know me, I upcycle home decor and furniture, and I'm one of the contributors on Amy Howard at Home. And so you can find my work in her blog. I'm also an affiliate with a maker studio, and I love to craft and paint furniture. But another thing I love is coffee. I live in Seattle, and I'm Scandinavian, so it runs through my blood. So I thought it would be more than appropriate to bring to you today a coffee lover's gift basket that you can give the coffee lover in your life and do it inexpensively. So I went down to the dollar store. It's called Dollar Tree in my neck of the woods, and picked up some things that would make a really cute basket. So I'll go over that with you really quickly here. And everything together, depending on, some of the things you want to add in or not, ran me about $12. So nothing at all, basically. So I did these two mugs, and you can see it says stay a while. You can see that. And I love that because it just invites somebody to sit down with you for a cup of coffee or tea or hot cocoa and stay a while. So you might need to wait until after coronavirus is over, of course, but I love the sentiment behind that. So gonna make a couple of those mugs. The other thing is a coffee tea towel that says everything gets better with coffee. And I thought about making it green like the Starbucks cup, but I did it in black so they could use it all year round in any color of kitchen. I also did this little sign that says freshly brewed happiness. And I have one just like this that sits next to my Keurig machine. And I go to it every morning. Let's see what else. And then this little super cute little tray that says insert coffee to begin. Now, it depends on what the coffee lover in your life likes, whether they like the little pods for the Keurigs, or they like whole bean, or they like ground. But this I got for the coffee lover that might particularly like the pods. And so you can buy little pods like this, and then, stack them up here and then wrap it up like that. And I think it's just really, really super, super cute. You can use that to put your coffee pods in. And then the last gift is for the person who likes to store it. So this is just a glass bin. I got it at Michael's I got it for 40% off or 30% off. So it was like $5. And it just says coffee on it. You can store whole beans or the coffee pods. And then, of course, as you give the gift, you can either leave it empty or you can get them a bag of their favorite coffee. So, okay, now that I have dismantled that, and it's a mess. Oh, the last thing is this little plastic bin, and you can see it says Merry Christmas, or actually it says, what does it say? It says Christmas cheer, excuse me. And then I bought, crinkles, sizzle paper to stuff all of that with. So all in all, everything here that I bought, including the coffee, cost me $12. Now your supplies are going to cost you a little bit more than that, but you can use them. They're not just single use, right? You can use them to make, oh, I don't know. You could probably make 100 of these baskets with these and then use them on other projects as well. So why don't we get started? Oh, and this, my favorite, I ate one before I put it in the bag because it didn't fit. So, oh well, it goes in my tummy. Okay, so let's start with the mugs. So I love these mugs, and I got one that is straight up and down rather than, you know, curved or anything like that, because it allows the stencil to lay on here more evenly, and then it's easier to apply the ink. So what you're going to want are a Maker Studio ceramic paints. Now these are a new formula. These ones that I have are a new formula, and they do not require you to bake it. The old formula did. But the new ones that are on the website now don't, and they're wonderful. So I'm going to do mine in red, tally-ho, and smoke gets in my eyes. And that isn't that true this year, at least for us on the West Coast. Oh my gosh. Okay, so you're going to get your, oh, I should say, with all of these things, there's a stencil. It's a Coffee Lovers Bundle stencil, and it comes with 3 stencils, actually technically 4 because I cut one in half. And these are well loved. I used them before, but it looks like this. Everything gets better with coffee, freshly brewed happiness, and insert coffee to begin. And then coffee is on the bottom of that one. And so it comes in a pack, and you get the whole thing. I want to say it's like 16 bucks. I'm not totally sure, but okay, but that's not what we're going to use on these mugs. We're going to use the Stay a While. And so you're going to peel it off, and you are going to, I like putting it, it's pretty long, so I like putting it not just on one side of the mug, but in the center right across from the handle. So I'm just going to line that up. See like that. Okay, so just like that. And then you're going to take your fingers and you're going to burnish it. And this is really important so that you don't have any of your medium, whatever medium you're using, whether it's ink or chalk art or paint, it doesn't get underneath the stencil. So I burnish it really good so there are no bubbles. Just like that. Okay. Now on this curved surface, I can still use one of the spreaders, and I like to cut the spreaders in half because it gives me more room to maneuver and it doesn't get in the way of itself. I take everything's falling around me. Okay, so I take a paper plate, just spread a little bit on here like that, And then I like to take this end right here. It's kind of the flat edge on the top. And I just dip it in the edge. Not too much, just about that much. And now you can do it this way. You can also use a foam dome to pounce it on. So I particularly like this because it allows me to give it some additional pressure and make sure that it gets in onto the stencil well. So I just scrape it over where the stencil says stay a while. And if you feel like you might overshoot the edge of the stencil, go ahead and put some painter's tape on the edge so you don't get it elsewhere, especially when you're working with fabric, because once you get it on the fabric, it's really not getting it off. So, okay, so I'm going to do that just like this. You're going to let this dry. I let it dry overnight. And then it will be good to go. And I would recommend hand washing. I wouldn't put it in high heat environments. Oh, okay. So I just overshot myself, just like I said I wouldn't do. Oh, okay. So tell me, you guys, who of you likes coffee? And do you like it dark? Do you like it blonde with lots of cream and sugar? Or with flavor? Like, tell me what your the favorite way that you like coffee. My dad started me, shame on him, drinking coffee when I was quite young. Like I said, I'm Scandinavian, so it's kind of a family thing. Oh. And I was drinking Starbucks Ventis, triple shot Ventis when I was in high school. Yikes. But then I found out I have a heart defect and I can't actually have caffeine. So now I just drink decaf, which I call it, when I order like a latte with decaf, and I have to have coconut milk too and no sugar when I'm being good, I call it the no point latte. Okay, so you want to just grab the edge and pull it off. You don't want to leave it on here. You want to pull it off and let it dry like that. Okay. And then if you have, if you're not going to use it again, you're going to want to clean this immediately with a little bit of soapy warm water. Otherwise, you can put it in some water to let it soak so that the ink doesn't clog up the pores. So isn't that cute, you guys? I'm just going to let that dry overnight. And then I would go ahead and make another one in red. Okay, and you can do whatever colors you want, of course. But that is what I would do. So you can kind of see what that looks like. Okay. So next on the docket is my little tray. Now, Amy has these little Maker Studio sample sizes. They're a little more than a sample. They're 2 fluid ounces and they're Rescue Restore paint. And this color is called Pick a Pepper. And I'm going to use this to paint this piece right here. Let's see how much time I have left. My timer went away. Okay, so you can use whatever, one of the, when I'm painting a piece of furniture, I really like using Amy's brushes, but because this is a small piece, I go ahead and use a large artist brush. And you're just going to dip it in, obviously, offload it, and go to town. So get all in the nooks and crannies. And if you didn't know, I'm sure you have probably heard already, and you may hear it again, but like my friend Tamara says, it's worth mentioning again, because I don't know what you're watching today, but this paint is my absolute favorite chalk style paint. It smells wonderful. It has essential oils of vanilla in it. And when I'm coming to you from my babe cave, which is my basement. And every time I come downstairs, I just get a very small scent or whiff of vanilla, and I love it. It makes me happy. It doesn't smell like, oh my gosh, you guys, if you have ever bought chalk style paints from like the craft store, and I don't know if I should name names, but it's the general brands that you'll get there. There are like 3 brands that like Michael's carries, and they use calcium carbonate from, I believe it's like oyster, from shells, and it smells to high heaven. Like there's one brand in particular that I can't use because it just reeks. And okay, so I'm going to give you a quick tip. When I do an edge, instead of going back like this, I just use the flat side of my brush, and I just dab it like this. Okay. And that just prevents it from leaving any kind of drips, etc. And what I should also note, when you're putting on her paint, it's better to do 2 thin coats than 1 thick coat. It's just going to make your application look smoother, and it's going to dry more quickly. Dry faster. Yeah, I'm trying to make sure I use proper grammar here. Okay, so I'm just going to do that. And let's see. So anyway, her paints are fantastic. They have the best adhesion of any chalk style paint, according to an independent lab. They also are self-sealing and her new formula that you can get over on Amy Howard at Home. The new formula one-step paint is self-leveling as well, which is great. Which means basically you're going to get less brush strokes if that's something that is concerns you. What else? What else do I love about her paint? So best adhesion, best smell. Oh, the most important thing to me is that it's baby safe. It's non-VOC. Like, it's a true chalk style paint. It's not latex with chalk in it. It's not acrylic with chalk in it. It is just pigments and her formula of chalk. Okay, so I'm gonna just do this side really quick. Now, before you put on a second coat, you're gonna wanna let it dry for about 30 minutes, or you can take a hair dryer, like I'm gonna do here in just a second, and excuse me, speed up the process. So I'm not gonna put 2 coats, excuse me, on for purposes of demonstration, but there you go. So that's what that looks like. Is that cute? Okay, so I'm gonna put that to the side and start working on my other stuff here. I'm just gonna check my time here really quick. Okay. Oh, let's see. Yeah, I gotta hurry up here, you guys. Okay, so this is the other really, really cute thing I love. And this is a little chalkboard sign. Now, one thing you're gonna wanna do before using any pre-made chalks on chalkboards like you might get at any craft store, you're gonna wanna season the chalkboard. And what that means is you're gonna take the side of a regular piece of chalk and you're just gonna go back and forth. And what that does, a lot of times they'll put like an acrylic seal on it, and it will break that up and allow you to, it will open up the fibers of the piece that you're working on. And what that does is prevent whatever chalk medium you use, whether it's regular chalk or chalk paste or chalk, the markers, from being permanent. If you don't do that, it can leave a permanent impression for what you're doing. So I've already seasoned this, and you're just going to take your freshly brewed happiness and lay it on, and make sure again that you varnish it really well. And one of the things you can do, can use different color chalks on different words. And when I do that, I will sometimes take a piece of painter's tape and very carefully and lightly put it over the edge so I don't mistakenly put red where I don't want red. Or one of the things that you can do is do like an ombre effect. So I'm going to just quickly do that. I'm going to open all 3, and I'm going to take another spreader, and I'm going to start with green. Okay. And I'm just going to start with green here and kind of divide it up into thirds. And you can scrape pretty hard here. Okay. And then I have my paper towels over here. Get some red. And start doing red and do a little bit of overlap. Okay, I'm gonna wipe that off. And I'm going to make sure you wipe it off well, so when you dip it in the next color, you don't transfer paint or chalk over. And then I'm just going to do that. Okay. Okay. And make sure you put your seals back on, your lids back on so it seals, and make it tight because you don't want it to dry out. And if you're working over, an hour or so, just lightly put it on so it doesn't. Okay. You can kind of see what that looks like. Isn't that cute? Okay. So you've got that, and then the last thing, I don't want to go too much over, but you can take your Christmas cheer and just put it right here. Again, furnish it really well. And I would take a small artist brush and couple. And just dab it on like this, because this is, you could use either. You could use your spreader, but this is kind of a lip on either end, and it might get hard to get in here, but you could use a small artist brush, you can use the spreader, or you can use a foam dome to pounce it in. So, okay, let's see. The last thing I would do is your tea towel. Now, you're going to want to use, I won't go through this necessarily, because if you caught Tamara Hudson's live this morning, I think she was the first one, but she showed you how to do it on cloth. And you're just going to make sure you get a piece of cardboard. You're going to put it underneath the first layer so that you don't get bleed through. Now, I got these grain sack towels on Amazon, and they are pretty thin. So you're going to want to make sure you lay it down with a piece of cardboard underneath, and make sure you open it up, fold it the way that you would over, like a stove handle or a dishwasher handle. So you make sure that you put the stencil in the right place, because sometimes they're not folded the way that they would naturally hang. And then you're going to take your stencil, and this is the one, Everything Gets Better with Coffee. You're going to want to put it on. And then again, use your spreader and the gel art ink, not the ceramic ink, the gel art ink. And once you're done putting that on, you're going to take another piece of cloth or a piece of parchment paper, put it on top, and then use either a heat press or your iron on the cotton setting and hold it on there for 2 minutes. And that will heat set the ink permanently into your tea towel. Let's see what else. This is my coffee jar. And again, same method, but what you would do, this is the little stencil I use for that. You're going to use the ceramic ink again. You could technically use chalk art. Well, I wouldn't use chalk art. You could use the gel art ink, but then you'd have to seal it. So it's glass. I would just use the ceramic ink. So anyway, I've made a mess, but hopefully giving you some ideas for what you can do for the coffee lover in your life with that stencil. And, fill it with some coffee, maybe some biscotti or the purlines, and maybe some, I think I have some like chocolates in here too, or even those spoons that are dipped in the chocolate. You guys, lots and lots of ideas. And then wrap it up with some cello wrap and a pretty bow, and you've got yourself a perfect coffee lover's gift. So thank you guys for joining me. If you can, you want to find me, you can find the blog for this post with some of the materials for the dollar store and stuff on my website, reviveheartandhome.com. You can also find me at Revive Heart and Home on Facebook, Instagram, and Pinterest. So thank you guys. Have a very, very merry weekend, and happy painting, you guys.